The gentlelady from Florida is recognized.
Thank you so much, and I thank my good friend for yielding. Mr. Chairman, I rise in strong opposition to this amendment. Now, we know the Natural Resources Committee is a rowdy one to manage lots of difficult decisions and inflamed passions, but I thank Chairman Bishop and the great subcommittee chairman and all of the members for doing a great job in ensuring that the American people are the ultimate beneficiaries of our amazing public lands and waters. And this Title 14 language that would be stripped out of the underlying bill by this amendment was taken from my bill, the Public Access to Public Waters Act, which has 36 bipartisan co-sponsors, including nearly 2/3 of the Florida delegation. Now, Floridians understand the importance of balancing environmental, recreational, and economic considerations along our coast because our state is the fishing capital of the world. With that balance in mind, we work to carefully develop and tailor this language so that it would only apply to a very small area of nearshore waters with deep importance to fishermen. My colleague and this amendment sponsor himself said in the committee markup that, quote, the National Park Service and the National Marine Sanctuaries cover a negligible percentage of waters within traditional state jurisdiction, end quote. He's right that we're talking about a relatively small area, but these waters have outsized importance to the folks living in nearby communities. In my district, the National Park Service is attempting to close over 30% of Biscayne National Park's reefs to fishing in perpetuity as part of its new general management plan and in opposition to the scientific and management expertise of the FWC, Florida's Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. FWC has worked for over a decade to develop mutually agreeable and scientifically supported fishing restrictions that stop short of a full closure in these areas, but the National Park Service has completely disregarded the state's authority to manage its own fishing resources in Biscayne National Park. Rather than work with the Florida's Fish and Wildlife Conservation Committee, what did the National Park Service do? They decided to abdicate its responsibility to the American public to try to balance environmental, recreational, and economic considerations. Now, instead, the National Park Service kowtowed to the whims of a single special interest group that bankrolled tens of thousands of form letters from across the country to hijack the public comment section in favor of closing fishing access to state waters upon which local fishermen depend. That is not the proper use of the public comment process. It is not in the best interest of South Floridians. It is not in the best interest of the American people. It is not reflective of how we should manage public waters. And let me be clear, the Title 14 language in this bill is narrowly targeted. It is simply to keep states involved in the management of their own waters. It does not apply in any way to federal waters. And this language is not anti-environment. It does not roll back any existing environmental protections, nor fishing regulations currently enshrined in law. Without keeping this language in the bill, Mr. Chairman, the example that the National Park Service is setting in Biscayne National Park will create a terrible precedent for other state and territorial waters in similar circumstances. I strongly urge all of our colleagues to oppose this harmful amendment, and with that, I reserve the balance of our time.